Hello and welcome back to another video, and today is going to be the recap of the Habs game last night. And the first thing I just want to say is how I'm glad that we got a point out of that game. Really, it was a poor start, very poor start to the game. Really just very bad start to the game entirely. With Bobby Brink scoring a nice tip off of Santine's shot. Very nice goal for Bobby Brink. Nice tip. Montembeau had zero chance of saving that, really. Just a nice overall shot, then tipped by Bobby Brink and Sandheim. Then the very next goal was a Cam York goal assisted by Zegras with a little spinning pass to pass that off to Trevor Zegras. That was also a nice goal in itself. I would honestly like to say Montembeau could have saved that. He didn't. It is okay. And then Philadelphia scores their third unanswered and takes a 3-0 lead just minutes into the game off a goal from Bobby Brink yet again. Another nice goal for Bobby. Just upsetting, really, to see how soft some of those calls were last night. Like, very soft officiating. They called pretty much everything and anything they wanted to, but they also missed a numerous amount of calls. Like, there were many times along the boards where, they dished out a penalty to Dobson on the penalty kill for a cross-check, but I see many times along the boards where a Philadelphia Flyer would just hack away. Like Kirby Dach in the corner, he was just getting hacked away at in the second period, and there was no call. Which honestly made no sense to me. Because if you're going to call one, you got to call both, but they just didn't. It didn't make much sense to me, really, at all. It made zero sense to me. And I'm very intrigued to wonder what the thought process was behind the refs. But you can't go out and blame the refs for the Habs loss. The Habs did their part, and they came back in that in that second period, and a nice goal from Kirby Dach. Well, I wouldn't say a nice goal. A goal where Kirby Dach should have been. He's right in front of the net. The puck comes off that back wall, and he just shoots it as hard as he can. It's in the back of the net. Montreal gets one on the board. Then on the power play, that's where we talk about nice goals. Ivan Demidov with a slick pass to Nick Suzuki, who buries it into an empty net on Bladeur. Then Kirby Dach scores his second of the game, assisted by Lane Hudson with the nicest assist I've seen in a minute, where he does a shimmy shake. The defender doesn't know where to go. He kind of falls backwards. Lane Hudson breaks his ankles. And what does Lane Hudson do? Passes it off the side of the net, and it goes to none other than, you guessed it, Kirby Dach for his second goal of the night and his third of the season. Lane Hudson catches his 11th assist and is on a 7-game point streak now. And speaking of point streak, Nick Suzuki is on a big point streak of 12 games with almost every single one of his points this season. He scored his third. Ivan Demidov gets a nice assist. And speaking of Ivan Demidov, he scores a beautiful goal. Lane Hudson manages to just barely keep the puck in. Juraj Slafkovsky passes the puck out. The Flyers are trying to break out of the zone, so there's 2 Flyers up. There's 1 Flyer back. Don't know what really happened. The Flyers kind of, crumbled right there into the Ivan Demidov goal. But Ivan Demidov gets the puck, and he does what Ivan Demidov does best, and he snipes it right above the glove. The perfect shot, and it is a beautiful goal for Ivan Demidov. Beautiful goal, beautiful way to keep the puck in the zone, and Montreal takes a 4-3 lead. Now, a key part of this game, though, for Montreal was if Montembeau could have stood up and played like he did in the rest of the game. Like if he had played like he did in the rest of the game in that first period, this could have been an easy win for Montreal. But Montreal, I'm going to be honest, they play a very poor defensive game the last couple games. The game against Ottawa, poor defensive game. And the game before that was another poor defensive game. Montreal really needs to step up their defensive game. And speaking of stepping up their defensive game, Arbor Jack guy. That fourth goal, I'm not going to blame one person in Pacific, but there was a large factor of why that goal went in, and that was due to zero pressure entering the zone. They had zero pressure entering the zone, and none other than Arbor Jack was kind of towards at fault for that. He could have easily had stepped up. He does do this thing, though, where when it's at the blue line, he does a little hook back and makes sure he has time to back skate and make sure that he can be back. But I feel like that's a large part of Marty St. Louis coaching and kind of telling him that he needs to stay back. He needs to play a more defensive-sounded game. And I feel like Marty St. Louis had a little bit going in towards that goal. Large part of why Arbor Jack did not, kind of sort of step up and get to the puck. I feel like that is kind of where they went wrong, is with the way that they were coaching him in specific. But with all, you can't really blame a guy and the coaching staff for one slight play. I don't think Montembeault should have started to begin with tonight. I don't think he should have started. I don't think it was right to start Montembeault tonight. He's been the worst goalie the entire season. He finally puts up his first 900 save percentage of the year, which is surprising because he was at an 839. An 839 save percentage going into the Habs game. And he put up a 905 save percentage last night, I should say. Which is, interesting to see that when, you're ridiculed by fans, you're getting heckled by fans in the first period after he let in three goals on 5 shots. Fans started cheering every time he made an easy save. Fans started cheering, showing him that this can't go on for much longer. You got to start playing your game. You got to start playing hockey. And he really did step it up with a lot of big saves in that third period. A lot of big saves in the second period, and he pretty much helped Montreal get to overtime to get them a single point. In overtime, though, Montreal, I would have liked to see capitalize a little bit more. They didn't really do very much in overtime. They did play pretty well defensively, I will say that, in overtime, but it would have been nice if they went and tried to attack a little bit more. Did have a couple nice shots, I will say that. But it would have been nice, to see a Montreal overtime winner again from Cole Caulfield. They did have a couple chances, none too great, so you can't really blame them much for not winning it in overtime. They've done so well so far this year in overtime. So, to squeak out in overtime, a shootout loss is okay. We still get a point at the end of the day, which is nice to see. So, you'll take all the points you can really get, and it's just nice to see Montreal, finally start to succeed. They have one of their hardest starts since they made the Stanley Cup Finals, which is interesting to hear about. It's pretty cool, though, to see this team finally developing and finally putting the pieces together. But one player who stood out and was good the whole game for Philly was Trevor Zegras, and that is one player I do remember myself saying I never want to see him get traded to Montreal because he is not good. But as soon as you get out of Anaheim, and like he said, he needed a place where there was a true winter, season. And he went to Philly, and he's been playing lights out. He's one of the best forwards in the league. He has more points than Mitch Marner already. He's playing at a very, very elite level right now. And I wouldn't be shocked if he keeps it up. Zegras is playing phenomenal. But the 3 stars for last night's game were Kirby Dach, Ivan Demidov, and Trevor Zegras. Third star being Kirby Dach with 2 beautiful, beautiful goals. The second star was Ivan Demidov with a beautiful assist and an even nicer goal. He is showing why he is one of just the best players, best rookies in the league so far. I wouldn't be shocked if he wins the Calder, but somebody is going to give him a run for his money, and that is going to be none other than Matthew Schaefer, who is playing phenomenal in New York. And last night there was a very interesting play. There was a huge scrum where Matthew Schaefer was at the bottom of the pile. And when him being at the bottom of the pile, it was due to a Nikita Zadorov punch to the face. And a lot of fans have been, not even just a lot of fans, a lot of people have just been saying that they haven't seen a single skillful or logical play out of Zadorov in his entire 10-year career. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think I have either. I don't think I've seen a single good play come from Nikita Zadorov. I honestly don't even know if he has over 100 career points in his 10 seasons. I don't even think he has 50 points at that. He is just so unproductive, lackluster, piss-poor defensive player that I'm still very shocked. I think the only reason why he's still playing in the NHL to date is because he is big and can play the body. I think that's the only reason why he's still in the NHL, which is kind of upsetting. You know, it's a little bit upsetting to see that the only reason why you're in the NHL is because you were gifted genetically. But it's a little bit it's unfortunate for Bruins fans as he isn't that good at all. But that's gonna be the end of this video for today. Um, Unfortunately, there's not really much else for me to really say. You know, Montreal did end up losing last night. Unfortunate loss, but that is going to be the end of this video. I just want to say thanks if you guys watched all the way through it. I really do enjoy making these videos, but yes, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Feel free to leave a like and subscribe, and let me know how you feel in the comment section below. But hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and see ya.